Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in today. My name's Marissa, and today we're going to learn about birds. So I want everyone to take 30 seconds, I'm going to put a timer on, and write down what you know about birds. All right, time's up. So I hope you guys wrote down a lot of interesting things. I bet you did. I bet you know a lot about birds already, I can tell. But some of the things that I wrote down are that most birds can fly. There are some that don't, and they live in a lot of different places. There are some here in New England, but they live all over the world. I wrote down that they have feathers, like this one here. This is actually a turkey feather. You can tell because it has this colored banding all across it, and it's pretty big. Pretty long feather. Turkeys are pretty big birds. I also wrote down that birds make nests. So when I was actually out walking in my yard this morning, I found this nest on the ground, or I should say my dog found it. But it's pretty small. It fits right in the palm of my hand. So a bird that was a pretty small in size probably made this. I don't think a turkey could fit in here, do you? So I hope you guys wrote down some other things too. Keep them in mind as you're doing your birding activities later, because we're going to start off with a book and we're going to go listen to some birds that I heard in my yard this morning. And then we're going to check in with my friend Kyle, who is out in the field. He's going to give you some tips on how to bird, what to look for, and give you some challenges to complete. So let's start off with our story. We're going to read Birds Today by Kevin Hanks. In the morning, I hear birds singing through the open window. I just told you I heard some birds this morning singing outside my window. What kind of bird do you all think this is? I bet you've seen these before. It has that brown back and that bright orange or red belly. You can hear it a lot in springtime. It's a robin. Good job. Birds can be yellow or blue or brown or red or even green, I think. Sometimes they're so black that you can't see their eyes or their feathers, just their shapes. Birds can be big, like this flamingo, or little, like this little hummingbird, or any size in between. I see a bluebird here, and an owl, and a seagull, and a goldfinch. Once I saw 7 birds on the telephone wire. They didn't move. And they didn't move. And they didn't move. Let's see if we can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good job. But when I looked away for just a second, they were all gone. If birds made marks with their tail feathers when they flew, think what the sky would look like. All these beautiful colors. If clouds were birds, the sky would look like this, or this. Sometimes in winter, a bird in a tree looks like one red leaf left over. What kind of red bird do you think this might be? I think it might be a cardinal too. If there are lots of birds in one tree and they all fly away at the same time, it looks like the tree yelled. Everybody give their best yell. Surprise! If I were a bird, I'd ask where all the other birds go when it's stormy and they can't get home to their nests. Where do you think they go? I like to pretend I'm a bird. I can't really fly, but I can do this. I can sing. Now, there is a family of birds that lives right in my backyard. So I got some footage of them this morning. So let's go check it out and see if we can figure out what kind of bird we hear singing. Can you all hear that sound? I want you to listen for it. It sounds like this. Right here in the city, you can hear, I live on a busy street, all these cars back here, but you can also hear the sound of that bird. It's a chickadee. It's a state bird of Massachusetts, and it has a really easy call to identify because it sounds just like it's saying hamburger or its own name. Listen to see if you can hear it say, hamburger, hamburger. Or try and listen for chickadee, chickadee. See if you can practice at home. So keep practicing your best chickadee call, everybody. Remember, hamburger. And we're gonna go see what Kyle's up to out in the field.
Hey everyone, my name's Kyle and I am super excited to bird with you today. Now, in order to bird, we're going to need one pretty important thing, and that is binoculars. If you have your own pair of binoculars, that's awesome. You're going to want to grab those because they're going to be super important today. And for those who don't have a pair of binoculars, that's okay too. We put up a craft where you can make your very own binoculars, like my awesome pair right here. These are going to be perfect for today. So you're either going to want to take a moment and do the craft, make your own pair of binoculars, or grab the binoculars you have, and I'll meet you right back here for some birding. Now that you have your binoculars, we're going to want to get somewhere that we can find some of our feathered friends, our birds. And that could either be at your window in your house. A lot of birds are right outside your window. Or it could be in your backyard, front yard, side yard, if you have one of those. Or it could be at your local park. I'm at my local park right now. I'm out here getting ready to bird. So you're going to want to find yourself somewhere that you can find some birds today. Hopefully you're somewhere where you're going to be able to find some birds. And I have a question for you before we are going to be able to start trying to find anything. And that question for you is, where can we find birds? Where would a bird, maybe it's living or sleeping or eating, where could we find a bird? I want you to take a moment, think about that question. You can either write down some answers or think of a couple answers, and once you have those, we can come back and maybe we'll talk about where we might be able to find a bird today. All right, hopefully you had a chance to try and come up with some places that you might find a bird, and that's going to be really, really important because you're going to want to know where to look when you're out trying to find our new feathered friends. And so let's think about this for a moment. Where could we find a bird? And luckily for us, we could find a bird in a lot of places. Birds could be up in the sky flying around, or birds might be on tree branches, so they could be in the trees. Birds even like the ground. Sometimes they hop on the ground or stand on the ground, often looking for food. One of the harder places to find a bird is in some bushes or some really, really low plants because they like that safety and feel like things can't see them or get them when they're in the bushes. Or maybe some of you put on the water. There's birds like ducks that like to sit on top of the water or swim around in the water. So there are so many different places that we could find birds. So when you're out there today, don't just look in one place, but be looking everywhere. and that gets you a better chance to see different kinds of birds and just any birds in general. So always be looking in a lot of different places. You should have your binoculars. You should be somewhere where you're going to be able to find some birds, your window, your yard, a park. And now we know where to look for these birds, or even maybe able to hear these birds. So I'm going to put up some challenges for you today to see if you can find different types of birds in different types of places. And I want you to see how many of these challenges you can complete. And I'm gonna be out birding too, so I'll see you back here at the end after you go through your challenges, and I'm gonna see if I can do these challenges too. So I'll see you back here in a moment. Whew. I don't know about you, but that was a lot of birding. Well, I didn't quite get through all the challenges. It was a lot, but hopefully you had a chance to get through as many as possible. And don't worry if you didn't get through them all. Luckily for us, you can always come out and bird more in the future. Birding is one of my favorite things, and hopefully it's now one of your favorite things. I love looking for birds, seeing new birds. It's like a giant game of hide and seek. So get out anytime, try and find some birds, figure out what they are, and have a good time. And hopefully I'll see you in the future birding at the garden or somewhere, and have some fun. Happy birding.